Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is the third video of the playlist for basic of React.js. And the next thing we are going to do is making the delete function. I will close the terminal or the panel, go to the block card, and here we are going to create the delete card function. Let's first add some button. So in here, for example, I will change this code somewhere button to delete button, and for the color it's going to be danger. Now let's see how it looks. As you can see here, we have the delete button. For the function is going to be for the function we are going to the block list, and in here we are going to create a new handle function. The name is going to be handle remove, and it is going to be an equal, and for the props it's going to be a data, then an arrow function. Inside of it we'll have an Axios dot delete, and we're going to use this symbol so that we can write a variable inside of here. I'm not going to give other than, and in here blocks, and then data. Inside of the here we are going to give it a more props. For this one is going to be the remove, and for the value is going to be this dot handle remove. Inside of the block card we're going to have a new params, and here is going to be remove, and for the button I'm going to give it some event. For the event is going to be on click, and on click it is going to run the handle the remove function. Then I'm going to give it the ID block.id. Now let's try it in the website. Don't forget to run the server. Go in here, refresh. I will click this button, delete. Let's see in the console, and it is working fine. If you refresh the website, you will see the change. As you can see here, the third item is gone. And if we go again to the block card, I will change this title into ID, and let's check it out. We have the 4, 5, and so on. So that means the item that we just deleted have been deleted. And if you click the delete again, it is not immediately updated because we are need another function to get the API data again. So in here, in block list, I'm going to create a new function. That function is going to have a name equal to get post API, get blocks API, and we're going to have an arrow function. Inside of it, we will copy this one, this Axios get, and paste it here. For much simpler, we can just call the get post API dot get block API, and after the remove, we are going to call this function again, so that after we delete something, the website is immediately updated. Now let's see. If I click the delete, it is automatically updated. If I click this one, it is automatically deleted too. After creating the delete function, now we are going to create the add or create function. So in here, first what we are going to do is making the form. you can go to the Bootstrap and search for form. In here, I will just copy the first one and paste it here inside of the container. I will Alt-Shift F to automatically purify it, but I think I have to close this self-closing input tag and Alt-Shift F. And we will change a little bit from this form. For example, the first one is not going to be email, but it is going to be the title. And for the password, it's going to be the label of the password is going to be block content. And we also have to change this ID into title input. And for the block content, it's going to be content input. We don't need this check me out. And also this button doesn't require to be submit type. Now this type is going to be some text. For the area descriptively is we don't need this. We don't need this small too. And also we are going to give some name in here. Name equal to, for the first one is going to be title and the second one is going to be body. Now let's scroll to the top, and up here we are going to have some variable to wrap all of the content that we want to send to the post method. The name of the variable is going to be, wait a second, it's going to be a form blocks. Form blocks is equal to an object, and the user ID we are going to set it always 1. The ID is going to be just empty. The title is going to be empty too, and also for the body. But I think we don't need some comma in the last data. Now what we are going to do is make a new handle function. This one is going to be handle form change. It is going to have some props equal to even, some arrow function, and inside of it but before we add some content in here, we are going to apply that handle form change function in here. So I will give it a new event, and on change is going to be this handle form change, and we are going to develop it. In here we are going to have a let form block plus new. It is going to be a variable that contain all of the temporary data that we are going to pass or we are going to put inside of these form blocks, and then put it in the database. So below that we'll have a let timestamp. This timestamp is going to be the ID of the database or of the data. And next we are going to fill it out. First it's going to be the form block plus new. It's going to be the ID. First one we're going to fill the ID. The ID is going to be the timestamp, and then we are going to have a form block plus new, but this one is not either a title or a body. It is going to be the even dot target dot name. So this name is going to fetch from the name of the input. That's why I name it title and body, because you have to name it same like in the forms block variable. And for the value is going to be even dot target dot value. It is going to fetch the value of the input, and then we'll have a this dot set state. We're going to set the state of the forms block is equal to form block post new. Now let's try it in a website. I will go to the block, and as you can see here, we have a white form. Let's make it a little bit smaller. So here I'm going to cut the form and make a new row. Inside of that row we'll have a call md6. I will put the form in there. Alt-Shift F to beautify it, and for the row I will give a new class that's going to be justify content center. Save it. Now let's see in the website. It should be a lot more smaller. Nice. And we also give it MB4 so that we can give it a little bit space. Let's see if we are. Now for the example, I will give new programming language. Well, let's debug it first. For the test, comma, and then we will have equal to some function here. Wait a second, I think I used too much parentheses. We are not using it in here. Console.log state forms block. So every time the input is changed, it will console log the value. I will make it like this. Wait a second. And for the site it's going to be the console log. We get some error here. We just have to change this class where it is here. The class to class name. And the for in this label is we just have to change it to HTML4. Now let's refresh it. It should be work fine and we don't have any error. As you can see here, we can change this to text or you can even also change this to text area. The name is going to be body, the ID is content, input. For the call, we'll just make it empty, and for the row it's also empty. And don't forget to add a class equal to class form control, because without this the text area will looking ugly. Let's see in the website. As you can see here, we have the text input and the text area input. Let's open up the console log. Here, if I typing something like, for example, new programming language just launched. As you can see here, we have the data for the title and the ID, but for the body it's just still empty. What about in here? We type something like, for example, Rust, and it is not changing. Why? Because we forgot to add the on change. I will just remove this because it will confuse. Here, on change and Alt-Shift F. As you can see, we have the on change and handle form change. And for the form UI is done, we can now create the function to post the data to API. And that's also the name of the function. Post data to API is equal to an row function. It is looking similar with the remove, but the method is just post, and we are not passing the ID, but we are gonna passing this form block variable. So in here, this dot state dot form blocks forms block, and we're going to this get API get blocks API, just like this. And also, if you want to make this, if you want to make the show is for the newer and not for the oldest or the newer, you can also change in this. In here, you are adding the sort equal to ID and underline order equal to descending. This will take the newer data to show. Now let's refresh it and try to add some basic data, like for example new programming language just launch, and for the language it's just maybe Rust. As you can see here, we get the user ID, title, and the body. Let's submit it and let's see. We didn't get the data. Let's check in the db.json. Scroll to the bottom. There's no data. Let me see here. The Axios.post and then blocks. This state forms block. Copy, paste. Oh yeah. In here, I'm going to add on, click event, and that event is going to be this.handle submit. But we didn't already create the function, so here we are going to create it. Handle submit. It's going to be an arrow function too, and then this just going to trigger or call to the post data to API. Now let's try it, but first make sure the function name is same with on click. Now let's try it again. Refresh it. Open up the console log to see if we get some error. New programming language just launch. Then Rust. Let's submit it. And let's scroll down. If we look up in the console, so, and I forgot the T in here. And let's see how it looks. As you can see, we got the new programming language just launched. So this means our create function is working. Next, what we're going to make is the update function with a put method. But first, before we do the update function, and here if you look up, if the form is in the top, it will be a little bit annoying if we click and then scroll to the top. So we will make this form in the right side of the website. To do that, go to your return and then cut this col MD6 where the form is placed. Cut it and remove the row. Here we will make it inside of this row. So inside of this we will have call MD6. The first one is the form, and the second one call MD6. The second one is going to be the item. We'll paste it here. I'll shift F, and to make it a little bit more tidy, here I can make it from call MD3 to call MD6. Now let's see in the website. As you can see here, but we just have one column. Let me see. Here you can change the call MD6 where the item is placed. Change it to 7, and for the form, change it to 5. Let's see in the website. There is 6 call MD6. Oh, and we also have to make a new row in here. Div with the row class. Put it in here. I'll shift F. Now let's see how it looks. And as you can see, we have a 2-column product or 2-column blocks. I see this is too much, so let's delete a few. Let's delete a few of it. Maybe I will delete from 1, 2, from 6, from ID 6 to from ID 6 to ID 85. We'll delete it, and we just have something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. But we have a little fewer here, so that we don't have to scroll down all the way down. We just have to scroll a little bit. As you can see here, we just have a little data, so that we don't have every time we click the scroll and then scroll up down. So I think that's it for this video. I hope you will enjoy it. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye and thanks.